Hey guys, welcome back to the Smart Cube. Today's topic will be an optimal range of motion. Now, when I say this, I mean at what point in the exercise that you're doing is optimal for maximal gains, effectively. For example, I'll use the squat. Now, there's always people saying you need to squat ass to grass, squatting all the way, getting your butt down to the floor. However, this is not entirely true because one, everybody has different mechanics and their bodies work differently. Everybody's flexibility and mobility is different. So everyone squats and has their own level, but what I think is optimal for a squat is at 90 degrees. So what I mean by that is, if you see a person here, don't mind my amazing art, but here we have a person doing a squat and their legs are at this 90-degree angle. And the reason for that is, when you do a squat and you sit down in a seated position, in this position here, the amount of tension you feel on your thighs is a lot greater than had you put your butt right down to the ground. Because if you've seen it before, you might have seen people sit down, they can sit down for ages. And I'll show you an example right now actually. So here we have the squat. Now, if I take a squat and I'm going all the way down past 90 degrees and I just sit like this, it's a lot easier for me to sit like this in this position than it is for me to sit in this position at 90 degrees. Now instantly I feel a lot more tension in the quads, and that's because gravity as a force, the force coming from above me straight down, is parallel to my quads, and it's really making me work a lot harder than this, because now the angle's changed here and gravity is not as effective coming down onto my quads during the squat. So at 90 for me is optimal, and then you can come back up, down to 90 and back up. So that's the squat. Next I want to show you the bicep curl and what's optimal for that. So I'm going to grab this bar, place my hands and have my arms straight down. Now as I come up to curl, what's optimal is there. That's where peak tension is in my bicep. And then I can come and lower back down again and come up, find peak tension and then go back down. Because, and you'll see it a lot, people bicep curl, they come all the way up and squeeze. Now, if you look at it from a tension point of view, when I'm in this position, I can hold this position for a very long time. Meaning that my muscle in this position is not working as hard as it would if I just dropped my arms there and held that in place. Now my biceps are working harder than they would all the way up here. So find peak tension and then reset. Come up and down. So it's all about finding where your muscles peak in tension, which will increase difficulty of the exercise and hopefully benefit you in your training. So lastly, the exercise I want to show you is the skull crusher. This works the triceps on the back of the arm here. And now, this exercise, I'll show you what people commonly do and how to tweak the angle of your arm to make this a lot harder and a lot more effective for your training. So, normally people will have their arms locked straight above their chest. Now in this position, it's very easy for me to hang out here. I can have a conversation with you guys for ages, and it's not really giving me any trouble. Whereas, if now I create that angle in my arm, instantly my triceps are working harder because gravity is acting as a force upon the triceps more. In this position, my wrist, elbow joint, tricep, my shoulder are all stacked underneath each other to help support me holding this bar up in this position. So it's not really difficult. Create this angle here. Instantly I can feel the tension, and now I can do my skull crushes a lot more effectively with a challenge. Like that. So, little tweaks in these exercises, the squat, bicep curl, and skull crusher, little tweaks in the angles will just give you a new insight into training, into the exercises, and how to make it more difficult than what you're already doing if you're not doing these things. I can do a lot more on these type of things. I can go into depth about other exercises and optimal range, how to tweak certain exercises to make it more difficult. If that's something you're interested in, then just leave me a message or a comment under this video, and I'll be glad to help. But for now, thank you for listening, and I'll see you next time.